An excerpt from Warren's World, written by D.A. Madigan. November 27th, 1983. The Edge of the World, 5:17 a.m. Jesus fuck, Dave swore. Okay, now I do remember. The zoo got a grant from some corporation to create a clone dinosaur exhibit. We all went, but you had to leave early to go to work, Ellie said slowly. And Warren said he'd drive you, and I went along to keep Warren company on the trip. She stopped herself, appalled, before she spoke the words that had risen to her lips almost naturally. Warren always did like a little roadhead, and felt her stomach turn over. The zoo had all these wireless electrical barriers around the exhibits, Brian said, his voice eerily calm. Big bluish-white bolts of electricity crackling through the air between metal fence posts, like something Tesla would have invented. Warren always did like science fiction-y stuff. And there was a power failure, Rick said, horror in his voice. About 20 minutes after Warren left, a power failure, and all the dinosaurs got out. Warren heard you all screaming in his mind, the interface gem said. He flew back there as fast as he possibly could. Fortunately, none of you had yet died of your injuries. He threw all of New Sparta into stasis. It took him nearly a year to repair the damage, both to the city and to those of you who had been at the zoo. He judged it was best to simply remove all memory of the unfortunate dinosaur exhibit. He was genuinely concerned with the emotional trauma such memories might cause you all. And he didn't want anyone to remember what a screw-up he was, David spat. Fucking dinosaurs! He cloned goddamn dinosaurs! Did he even see the Jurassic Park movies? That's probably where he got the idea, Ryan said. He shuddered. Oh my God. He looked down at himself. No scars. Not a mark on any of us. Man, he did a good job fixing us up again, I'll say that. It was almost certainly Warren's worst misjudgment since he decided to destroy the Earth itself, the gem agreed. Well, Jimmy said, after chewing that over for a second. That's good news anyway. Warren's only omnipotent. He's not omniscient. He's not even omnipotent, the interface gem said. There are many things Warren cannot do. He cannot raise the dead, for one thing, which, as far as I understand human thinking, would be an ability that would truly qualify him for godhood. For some reason, that niggled at everyone there, apparently, judging from the frowns that quickly passed over all their faces. All but Jimmy's, anyway. But the interface gem went on without pausing. There are also several things you seem to take for granted that he can do that are, in fact, quite difficult. What you all call mind control, for example, is actually not at all easy. Each individual human mind operates on its own specific mental wavelength, for lack of a better word. For any sort of telepathic contact to be made, two or more different minds have to be attuned to the same wavelength. This can be done, and there are many ways for two individuals to achieve this sort of temporary rapport. Sex is one, simple exhaustion another, long-established trust and emotional intimacy a third, and, of course, there are various drugs that also relax the mind and make it more accepting and cause the highly individual mental waveband to take on a simpler and more accessible signature. Which is why Warren puts the drugs in all the food and drink in New Sparta, Dave said tightly, so he can mind control everyone there at will. New Sparta is, to an extent, Warren's haven, the interface stated. It is the newest world he has built, and it is one where he goes to feel most secure, to relax, to indulge all his lifelong power fantasies. Many of those fantasies are expressed sexually, as you know. However, it is more important to warn, most important in fact, that when he is there, he be able to, how do you put it, easily suspend his disbelief in this world. You mean he wants to feel like it's a real place? Leslie said, her voice vicious. He wants to think that it's really 1983 and everybody really loves him and he's not just mentally and physically raping the shit out of everyone around him. He could, if he wished, take everyone there by force, the gem said coolly. He could quite credibly compel all of you to obey his whims through brute force. You, Leslie, might think you would spit in his eye and refuse to comply no matter what he threatened you with, but I doubt you would stand by and watch him, for example, set your husband on fire, which he could do, and might, if driven to it in a fit of frustrated rage. A little shudder went through their group at that. But as you say, the interface went on, he prefers an illusion of reality. He prefers to be able to think of you all as his friends, as you once were, or perhaps never really were. Warren can't be certain these days if any of you ever really cared for him at all, of course, given how things turned out. But he is certain he once loved you, and so this is the fantasy world he has built for himself, the one where all of you care for him, or at least seem to, as much as he cares for you. Or he once did. So he drugs us, Rick said. He'd fucking have to, Leslie snarled. I never liked his whiny crybaby asshole that much to